The name of this game is Stay Alive. We don't know much else other than we're not—
Miller died the same way he died in the game. This can't just be a coincidence.
I think you're right.
Serious, man? Listen to yourself.
Don't you get it? If you die in the game, you die for real. It's supposed to happen.
Just when you thought everything was gonna go the way that it should, it turns out to be kind of a disaster. Aloha! Welcome to Cyntillating Reviews, and tonight we will be reviewing a film that is one of my most guilty pleasure films, but it didn't do so hot with the fan following. Stay Alive. Now, fun fact for you all, Stay Alive is actually Disney's only slasher film, and we're not counting Dimension films or anything that was inherited from the 20th Century Fox. This film did have a good idea. I really liked the concept of it, and it had a good story, and it even brought a historical figure, Countess Elizabeth Bathory, but I'll touch more on her later. Be forewarned that 1, we're going to be discussing blood and gore, and 2, spoiler alert is now in effect. The movie first starts off as CGI, where a guy enters into a plantation home, and he's just kind of wandering his way around the house. And the lights start flickering, and all these little girls come in, and they're ready to kill this guy. He turns around, but the door is shut completely. And then when he tries to escape, running up the stairs, he is met face to face with a woman dressed in a Victorian-era style red dress that's the color of blood. He gets pushed up on the top, and wrapped around his neck is like the chain from the chandelier, resulting him to be hung. So the guy is dead, quote, quote, dead. Appearing on screen are the words "game over" as the camera pans out. Here it was just a guy named Loomis playing a video game, and he just lost. He calls up his buddy Hutch, and Hutch is asking Loomis how the game was, and basic nutshell explanation that this game is just crazy. He asks Hutch if he wanted to come over and play it. Hutch says, "No, I'm kind of busy." He says, "Okay." Going on with that, Loomis hangs up the phone, ending the conversation with Hutch. And when he turns around, he can hear like weird sounds coming in, and something that it's starting to startle him, it's starting to scare him. He goes up the stairs and he opens the bedroom door, and he sees his friends Rex and Rex's girlfriend Sarah are just slain. It is just a slaughterhouse in that room alone. Loomis is in complete shock, and when he turns around, he is met face to face with the same Countess, and Loomis dies the exact same way that his character died in the game. At Loomis's funeral, Hutch meets Abigail, who is a friend of Sarah, who was one of the victims. Hutch receives some of Loomis's possessions, including Stay Alive. Later in the film, we're met with a bunch of different characters. We're met with October, who's Hutch's girlfriend, and we meet her brother Phoenix, as well as Abigail, who is sort of a friend of Hutch, sort of not really, more of acquaintance, and Swink. They all decide to get together to play Stay Alive. And I enjoy this scene. I'm a video game player myself, and I really enjoyed the Prayer of Elizabeth scene, where they say unto the prayer of Elizabeth, and just the creation of their characters and playing the game themselves.
Your salvation lies beyond the gates of this plantation. Your only chance is this. Uncover the horrible truth about Rouge Plantation and stop the evil. But in order to do that, you must stay alive.
While they're playing this game, at the place of Hutch's employment is Miller, and he's playing from his office. Miller is starting to get a little freak out about it.
Phone fools? Oh, I'm walking from lunch. I'm ready. Dude, you better drop a rose. No, I'm out of goddamn roses, man. At least
Miller's character turns around and he's getting attacked by the Countess. And unfortunately for Miller's character, he gets killed by being stabbed in the neck with conjoined scissor blades by the Countess, resulting him in a game over. Now before he could try to get back into the game, he sees things, he hears things, and he's first trying to dismiss it as like hallucinations. But when he leaves his computer and when he goes trying to investigate the noise, lo and behold, there's the Countess, and she kills him the exact same way. Hutch is starting to come into realization that both Loomis and Miller played Stay Alive right before they died, and they're dying the exact same way that their characters did. They first thought that maybe somebody was spying on them, maybe it could have been a coincidence, but how could it be a coincidence when such a small detail fit the quota on the victim's body? That ain't no coincidence. Everybody's in agreement that they stop playing the game until they find out more exactly what's going on. October researched Elizabeth Bathory, and they discovered that her weakness is a mirror because she can't stand seeing herself growing old. That's why she is draining the blood of innocent young girls. Now we have two detectives coming in, Detective King and Detective Thibodeau. Sorry if I said that name wrong. Now they're interfering in the kids' investigation. And here is kind of where some of the problems come for this film. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, look at Swink, he was in a bed of roses and he died, he got a game over. That's not right. He should have been alive. Well, in the end, yes, he is alive at the very end because you can see Hutch getting rescued by Swink and Abigail when they come in with all these roses, but everybody's pointing out why was a game over showing up on his screen. Now, keep in mind, remember that this is not an official game. This game is a beta game. So when it's a beta version, there's going to be bugs, there's going to be mistakes. So I'm wondering if maybe this is where the beta came in. And also here's another point. Venus decides to play Stay Alive alone, and he quits the game before his character could even die. He was killed in real life when he was run over by the horse-drawn carriage. So I can understand people's frustration on how did this happen, how did this work, but again, it's a beta game. Stay Alive's first weekend made it to number 3 at the box office with $10.7 million. It grossed a total of $23.8 million in the United States, and worldwide was $27.1 million on a $20 million budget. So good for them that they were able to pass that budget goal, but however, it received negative reviews. The film later added an additional 13-minute addition, and a little bit of that addition gave us a new character and a new subplot and more adult material. But the new character, in a way, he is kind of explaining on Countess Elizabeth Bathory the way that I'm going to explain Elizabeth Bathory to you guys. So yes, Countess Elizabeth Bathory was a real person. So Countess Elizabeth Bathory was born in the late 1600s, so around 1560s, and she was born into like a very royal, noble family, which included knights, judges, kings, but the family just had a lot of twisted, demented things going on inside. Her uncle introduced her to Satanism, her aunt taught her about sadomasochism. At the age of 15, Bathory was married to Count Nodity, and they settled in Kisiji Castle. You know the saying, happy wife gives you a happy life? He wanted to satisfy her so much and make sure that she got what she wanted. He built a torture chamber to her specifications. Now, my husband loves me very, very much, but I don't think he would stoop that far to make me a torture chamber. And Bathory would just do all these different things to these servant girls that they would have. I don't even want to tell you. And the reasoning for it was just like the same Countess Elizabeth Bathory in Stay Alive. She wanted to stay young and beautiful forever. 1610 was when the light started to shine about Bathory and her torture. Bathory was put on trial for 80 counts of murder in 1611. Bathory wasn't alone when she was being tried. Her cohorts were being put on trial as well, but she was the only one that escaped execution. Instead, she was put in a room that only had small slits for air and food. She was stuck in that room for 3 years, and then she was found dead in August 1614. Now, she could have been related to Vlad the Impaler, or we like to call the real Dracula. Have you seen the things that Vlad did? Stay Alive is my guilty pleasure of a film. It was one of the horror films that kind of weaned me away, that I discovered on my own. And more of the horror supernatural films that I watched growing up were more of like the paranormal. But Stay Alive was the first one that really kind of opened me up to urban legends and real life historical figures that would just do such heinous crimes. I do kind of wish that this film did take us more inside the game rather than outside, but we have to see exactly what's going on with our characters and what is surrounding them and what's the holdup for them not playing. It's kind of acting like an Osmosis Jones, where we would go inside the body and we have to come back outside to see what's going on. I have to give Stay Alive maybe a 3 out of 5. It's an okay film. I was kind of shocked to learn that this was Disney's first and only slasher film, and after getting the negative criticism, I don't think Disney's going to do that ever again. I personally enjoy it. If you are somebody that kind of wants to go into the horror genre but are just afraid of kind of what's going to come out of it, I would suggest giving Stay Alive a watch. Stay Alive is very predictable. I mean, you know exactly what's going to happen. Thank you guys so much for stopping in and taking a listen at Cyntillating Reviews. What do you guys think of today's review? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to Cyntillating Reviews, help me make it grow. I want to see something come out of this. If you want to be notified for personal videos or all my content, make sure you click that bell down below. I also have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter where I'll post pictures and I'll keep putting up polls and updates on upcoming content. Too many people have lost their lives, and too many of my family members have been affected by this. I am asking you to understand that our simplest prevention is our biggest protection. Take care of yourselves and others as you practice social distancing, washing hands, and staying at home. Let's try to make the world better by starting to make us better to reduce the spread of COVID-19. See you later on another day.